Look, you thought you had more time. You thought the road went on forever. But the dead end is here. Hands up! Face the light! Let's go! Stomping on the gas like you're trying to outrun the spirit. Caution screaming at you, but you don't wanna hear it. Sprinting toward a cliff, thinking you can actually fly. Selling your soul for a lifestyle that's actually a lie. You're building the kingdom out of cardboard and pride. Nowhere left to turn, nowhere left for you to hide. God seen the wreckage for the car even crashed. He's pulling you out the flames before you turn into ash. Like Saul on the road, blinded by the sheer weight of glory. This is the moment he rewrites the end of your story. Drop the weapons, drop the ego, drop the fake persona. You're a fugitive of grace, and the Father is the owner.
Running out of road, running out of breath. You're sprinting toward a shadow, I'm calling you to rest. Stop the flight, stand and face the light. The chase ends now, we're finishing the fight. Running out of road, running out of breath. Submission is the only thing that saves you from your death. Stop the flight, stand and face the light.
Self-destruction was the mission, you were doing it well. Speeding down the highway to accustom myself. You call it freedom, but you're bound by the things you desire. Playing with the gasoline while standing in the fire. The Holy Ghost just pulled a peak maneuver on your soul. Taking back the keys because you lost all your control. He didn't stop you to hurt you, he stopped you to bless you. The life you were living was cheap, he wants you to live it. Every bridge you burn is glowing in the rearview mirror. Standing in the stillness, now the blueprint is getting clearer. No more running from the mantle, no more dodging the call. He caught you in his hands just to break your entire fall.
Running out of road, running out of breath. You're sprinting toward a shadow, I'm calling you to rest. Stop the flight, stand and face the light. The chase ends now, we're finishing the fight. Running out of road, running out of breath. Submission is the only thing that saves you from your death. Stop the flight, stand and face the light.
The warrant is served. Old man is dead. New life starts at the stop sign. Cease and desist from your own ways. Enter his peace. Silence! You thought the bottom was the end. But the bottom is where you finally started listening. You can't hide in the dark from the one who made the light. Deep breath. Here we go. Bought a ticket to a city where you don't belong. Singing every note except the Father's song. You wanted silence, so he gave you a storm. Now you're wishing for the fire just to keep you warm. The deck is shaking and the crew is terrified, because you're carrying a calling that you tried to hide. You went down to the basement, down to the hall, but the weight of your disobedience is crushing your skull. Into the black, into the salt, into the cold. Now you're forced to face the truth that you never told. The pressure is a mercy, the cage is a grace. It's the only way he can get you face to face. The water's getting deep, the walls are closing in. You can't outrun the spirit, you can't outsmart the way. Come out the deep, you gotta see a way. The wall is getting deep, the walls are closing in. You can't outrun the spirit, you can't outsmart the way. Come out the deep, you gotta see a way. 3 days of darkness just to clear your sight. In the belly of the beast, you finally see the light. You spent your energy trying to map and escape. Now you're realizing your destiny is taking its shape. The weeds are wrapped around your head. Death is real, but God is still the one who's standing at the wheel. He didn't send a fish to eat you like the day. He sent the fish to keep the sharks of the world away. Vomit out the rebellion, spit out the pride. There's a whole generation waiting on the other side. Nineveh is calling and your voice is the king. Stop trying to drown what God meant to set free. The water's getting deep, the walls are closing in. You can't outrun the spirit, you can't outsmart the way. Come out the deep, you gotta see the way. The water's getting deep, the walls are closing in. You can't outrun the spirit, you can't outsmart the way. Come out the deep, you gotta see the way. The lows are just a launch pad. Surface level isn't deep enough for what he's building. Stop fighting the current. Swim up.
Looking at the terms for years, reading the fine print, trying to find a way out, but the deal was already brokered in heaven. The ink is dry, now it's just waiting on you. Pick up the pen. Stop talking about your lack of experience and degree. The one who called you owns the entire industry. You're worried about the overhead and the cost of the vision, while the CEO of glory already made the decision. You were formed in the womb with the contract attached, a destiny so specific it can never be matched. But you're sitting in the lobby, staring at the floor, while the angels are waiting for you to open the door. It's not a negotiation, it's a divine mandate. Every second you stall is a second you're late. Check the clause, it says he'll never leave or forsake. How much more confirmation do you actually need to take? The pen is in the air, the Father's waiting on the line. You're busy making excuses while he's making you a sign. Sign the paper. The pen is in the air, the Father's waiting on the line. Stop looking at the clock and start looking at design. Sign the paper, it's your time. Moses had a stutter, but he still led a nation. Gideon was hiding, but he received the promotion. Your flaws aren't a breach of the heavenly agreement. They're the exact reason you were sent for this treatment. Ownership means you stop blaming your past for the stall, and you take full responsibility for answering the call. The world is waiting for the fruit of your specific assignment, but it requires your total and complete alignment. No more I'm not ready, or I need more training. The king is in the room and he isn't complaining. Commit to the process, put your name on the dotted line. Watch how the stars and the seasons finally combine. The pen is in the air, the Father's waiting on the line. You're busy making excuses while he's making you a sign. Sign the paper. The pen is in the air, the Father's waiting on the line. Stop looking at the clock and start looking at design. Sign the paper, it's your time. Authorized, witnessed by the cloud of witnesses, affecting immediately. Don't look back. The work starts now. Yeah, focus. Let's go. I had people in my ear telling me to chill. I had shadows trying to tell me which way to turn. But the GPS is locked on the throne now. No more scenic routes, straight line. I had to delete the numbers that kept me in the cycle. If you aren't fueling the vision, you're just a rival. You call it hanging out, I call it a spiritual drain. I'm tired of wandering around in the pouring rain. I used to let the crowd take the pace I was keeping, while the potential inside of me was literally sleeping. Now I'm cutting the ties, I'm snapping the tether. I don't care if we've been friends since the beginning of ever. If you're a detour, you're a danger to my soul. I'm handing the master the keys and the total control. Eyes on the prize, I'm allergic to the side quests. I'm putting my obedience obedience to the ultimate test. No more maybe later, no more not today. I burn the map to my old life, I'm clearing out the way. Straight path, no delay. No more maybe later, no more not today. I burn the map to my old life, I'm clearing out the way. Distraction is a luxury that I can't afford no more. I'm kicking out the guests who aren't walking through the door. You're talking about the club, I'm talking about the kingdom. You're talking about the vibes, I'm talking about the wisdom. The road is narrow and I'm finally okay with the squeeze. I'd rather walk alone than be stuck on my knees to please a group of people who don't even know when my spiritual fruit is growing. My focus is sharp and my spirit fruit is growing. The command was given and I'm not gonna doubt it. One direction, one mission, one king to obey. Everything else is just noise getting in the way. No more maybe later, no more not today. I burn the map to my old life, I'm clearing out the way. Straight path, no delay. No more maybe later, no more not today. I burn the map to my old life, I'm clearing out the way. Straight path, clear the road, I'm coming through. Burn the bridges that lead to the old me. Forward motion only, amen. You're looking in the mirror and seeing a coward, but God is looking at you and seeing a conqueror. The size of the enemy doesn't change the size of the promise. Get out of the hole, the war is already won. Hiding in the shadows, trying to keep what you got, while the Midianites are taking everything in the plot. You say you're the least in your father's entire house, trying to stay quiet, trying to stay small as a mouse. But the angel of the Lord just called you a mighty man. He's not asking for your strength, he's asking for your hand. Your pedigree is irrelevant to the Spirit's power. He's been preparing your spirit for the specific hour. Drop the why me and the I can't do it talk. It's time to show the world how a kingdom warrior walks. You aren't a victim of your lineage or your past. You're the one he chose to make the victory last. You're hiding in the wine press, I see a mighty man. You're looking at your stature, I'm looking at my plan. Stand up, take the land. You're hiding in the wine press, I see a mighty man. Stop measuring your weakness, just do what you can. Stand up, take the land. 300 men is all it takes to shift the atmosphere, but you're too busy feeding on the bread of your fear. God is trimming down the army so he gets the glory. You're just a character he's using to tell the story. The torch is in your hand and the trumpet is at your lips. Don't let the weight of the calling cause your heart to slip. One shout is all it takes to watch the walls crumble down, but you'll never see the victory if you stay underground. Not good enough excuses, an insult to the creator. He didn't make a failure, he manufactured a giant slayer. Step out of the wine press, the harvest is ready for taking. The ground underneath your feet is already shaking. You're hiding in the wine press, I see a mighty man. You're looking at your stature, I'm looking at my plan. Stand up, take the land. You're hiding in the wine press, I see a mighty man. Stop measuring your weakness, just do what you can. Stand up, take the land. No more excuses, the least is now the leader. The coward is now the king. Go in this thy mind, the land is yours. Look, the cubicle feels like a coffin sometimes, doesn't it? You're counting minutes while God is counting souls. A steady check is a dangerous drug when it makes you forget your purpose. Turn the lights down. Listen. Punching the clock while the spirit is punching your heart. You're finishing the vision, but you haven't even started your part. Coffee in the morning just to survive a day you hate, while the harvest is white and the workers are standing at the gate. You're an architect of shadows. You're an architect of shadows, building things that don't last. Trading your return for a comfortable past. The benefits package cover the cost of a dormant gift. You feel the ground moving, you feel the internal shift. A corner office, this is just a smaller box if you aren't free. A corner office, this is just a smaller box if you aren't free. You're looking at the ceiling, but you'll be looking at the knee. The check clears every 2 weeks, but the soul is overdrawn. You're waiting for the weekend, God is waiting for the dawn. You're waiting for the weekend, God is waiting for the dawn. Kingdom in the sand, watch the tide wash it out. You were made for the mountain, why you settling for the drought? Why you settling for the doubt? Build kingdom in the sand, watch the tide wash it out. You were made for the mountain, why you settling for the drought? Leave the shadow, lose the doubt. What's a 401k to a man who's lost his eternal aim? You're making a living, but you aren't even making a name. In the halls of heaven where the real promotion resides, you're playing it safe while the destiny inside you dies. Security is a mirage when the destiny inside you dies. Security is a mirage when the master is calling you out to walk on the water, to step through the season of doubt. To step through the season of doubt. You never meant to be cogging a corporate machine. You were never meant to be cogging a corporate machine. You're a light on a hill, meant to be heard and to be seen. The paycheck is a blindfold if it keeps you from the mission. God is calling for a total and complete heart transition. Don't die with a full bank account and an empty calling. Step off the ledge, the Father will catch you from falling. Build kingdom in the sand, watch the tide wash it out. You were made for the mountain, why you settling for the drought? Leave the shadow, lose the doubt. Build kingdom in the sand, watch the tide wash it out. You were made for the mountain, why you settling for the drought? Leave the shadow, lose the doubt. Quit chasing the wind. Your S is more valuable than your salary. Yeah. You're begging God to take you out of the furnace, but He's the one who turned the heat up. It's not about the pain, it's about the impurities. The fire is your friend. Stop running, step in. You want the crown, but you keep avoiding the thorns. You want the sunrise, but you keep cursing the storms. The Father saw the dross that was clinging to your heart, so we scheduled a meeting to tear the old you apart. It's a surgical burn, it's a focused degree of heat, designed to melt the pride until surrender is complete. You're looking at the smoke and thinking it's the end of the road, but God is just burning the weight so you can carry the load. Gold doesn't shine until it sits in the middle of the flame. You can't carry the glory if you're still attached to the shame. Let the wood, hay, and stubble turn to ash on the floor. You're coming out of this heat with a whole lot more. You're running from the flame, but that's where the gold is made. Don't be afraid of the heat, that's how the old you fade. You're running from the flame, but that's where the gold is made. Don't be afraid of the heat, that's how the old you fade. Shadrach and his brothers didn't bow to the statue of man. They knew the fourth man was already holding the plan. The fire didn't burn them, it only burned off the ropes. It destroyed the bondage and resurrected their hopes. Your trial isn't evidence that God has left the room. It's the environment required for your purpose to bloom. Stop trying to pray your way out of the very thing that's supposed to polish the armor and prepare the king. The hotter the furnace, the purer the reflection he sees. When he looks at the metal, he's looking for his image with ease. Trust the refiner, he's got his hand on the dial. You're coming out as a miracle, not just a trial. You're running from the flame, but that's where the gold is made. Don't be afraid of the heat, that's how the old you fade. You're running from the flame, but that's where the gold is made. Don't be afraid of the heat, that's how the old you fade. Old skin is gone, the dross is destroyed, pure gold, ready for the master's use, preparation complete.
called you crazy. They called you too much, but they only call it wild because they can't domesticate it. You weren't born for the city square. You were born for the desert. Speak. Stop trying to tune your instrument to match their orchestra. You're a solo act directed by the one who authored you. You worry about the isolation and the lonely nights, but the brightest stars are only seen when there are no city lights. John was eating locusts while the fairies were eating steak, but he was the only one preparing the path the king would take. Don't apologize for the frequency you're operating on. If they don't get the vision, stop trying to be a polished gem. The wilderness isn't a prison, it's your training ground. Get comfortable with the silence until you find your sound. They won't understand the sound, they won't recognize the tone. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to take the throne. Speak it loud, you're not alone. They won't understand the sound, they won't recognize the tone. He's building something steady on rejected cornerstone. Speak it loud, you're not alone. The crowd wants a remix, but God wants the original. Stop being a copy of a cop that's just subliminal. You're different is the very thing that makes you dangerous. The world wants you predictable, they want you to stay with us, but the spirit is pulling you out to the edge of map, where the traditions of men are falling right in the trap. Where the traditions of men are falling right into the trap. Standing alone doesn't mean you're losing the war. It means you're the scout who's already walked through the door. Eat the scroll, let the word get deep inside your bone. You're an ambassador of a kingdom that they've never known. Let the echo carry the truth across the empty space. You're the primer evidence of the Father's specific grace. They won't understand the sound, they won't recognize the tone. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to take the throne. Speak it loud, you're not alone. They won't understand the sound, they won't recognize the tone. He's building something steady on rejected cornerstone. Speak it loud, you're not alone. You're not a misfit, you're a messenger. The wilderness is where the voice gets loud. The wilderness where the voice gets loud. Don't come back until you've said what he told you.
You think this is about your comfort. You think this is about your little plan. There's a whole generation stuck at the door because you won't turn the key. The gate is waiting on the keeper. Let's go! You're sitting in the hallway debating with your ego. Well, there's 1,000 people waiting on where you go. Your obedience the bridge they need to cross the canyon, but you're acting like the mission is a heavy burden on you. God didn't give you the gift just for your own reflection. He gave it to give a dying world a new direction. When you say no, a chain stays locked on someone's wrist. A miracle that's scheduled is the one that's being missed. You want a solo act, you're a vital piece of the puzzle. Stop putting the spirit's power in a human muzzle. The healing is in your hands, the word is in your mouth. It's time to push the yes and let the glory pour out. Your yes is someone's healing, your yes is someone's key. If you keep running from the lock, never gonna be free. Be the one he called to be. Your yes is someone's healing, your yes is someone's key. Unlock the future for the ones who are waiting on thee. Be the one he called to be. Think about the person who's praying for a sign tonight. They're walking in the dark and you're the one holding the light. If you stay under the bushel, gonna lose the way. How can you keep the bushel, gonna lose the way? How can you keep the yes inside for one more single day? You're a gatekeeper, the entry point one more single day. You're a gatekeeper, entry point for the Father's grace, a living witness. Standing in a very broken place, there's a business, a book, a song, a word that needs to break. For the sake of the legacy and the lives that are at stake. The pressure you feel isn't weight, it's actually the pull of a world that's empty, waiting for your cup to be full. Open the gate, step away, let the king move in. Your submission is the moment that breakthrough can begin. Your yes is someone's healing, your yes is someone's key. If you keep running from the lock, never gonna be free. Be the one he called to be. Your yes is someone's healing, your yes is someone's key. Unlock the future for the ones who are waiting on thee. Be the one he called to be. They're waiting. Turn the key. Say the word. Manifest. The world is groaning for you to show up. Don't keep them waiting. race is over. I stopped running, and I realized the Father wasn't chasing me to punish me. He was chasing me to bring me home. I'm finally here. Peace. I traveled every road except the one He paid for me. I tried to buy the things that He already gave for me. My pride was a mountain that I tried to climb alone. But I ended up hungry, sitting on a broken throne. My feet are blistered from the past that I shouldn't have taken, but even in my distance I was never once forsaken. I can see the porch light glowing from a mile away. I don't have a speech, I know what I'm supposed to say. Just a broken spirit and a heart that's finally soft. I'm dropping every burden that I used to carry aloft. The heavy lifting is over, the struggle has met its end. I'm walking back into the arms of my Father and my friend. Shoes worn out, heart finally still. I'm done with my way, I'm stepping in your will. The void is gone, I'm finally filled. Shoes worn out, heart finally still. I'm done with my way, I'm stepping in your will. The void is gone, I'm finally filled. There's no more looking back, the past has lost its grip. I'm done with the anxiety, I'm done with the sinking ship. Surrender doesn't feel like losing, it feels like waking up. It feels like living water, pouring into an empty cup. I used to fear the yes because I feared what I would lose. But now I see the kingdom is the only path would lose. But now I see the kingdom is the only path to choose. The noise of the world is fading into a beautiful song. This is the place where I knew I belonged all along. This is the place where I knew I belonged all along. No more hiding in the bushes, no more living in the dark. The spirit is the flame and my yes was the spark. I'm home, I'm whole, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm home, I'm whole, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Locked into the purpose that was designed just for me. Shoes worn out, heart finally still. I'm done with my way, I'm stepping in your will. The void is gone, I'm finally filled. Shoes worn out, heart finally still. I'm done with my way, I'm stepping in your will. The void is gone, I'm finally filled. Outro is quiet now.